about batteries in this seminar. Uh, Let us discuss about batteries and the subtopics of secondary cells and their classifications. Coming to the batteries, let's get to the definition of battery. It's a powerful source consisting of one or more electrochemical cells with external connections for powering electrical devices such as flashlights, mobile phones, and electric cars. Coming to the secondary cells, uh, there are two types of classifications in batteries. One is primary and second thing is secondary cells. I want to discuss about secondary cells, but let's go through primary cells definition once. The primary cells are nothing but these are the batteries which are used once and discarded, and as the electrode materials are irreversibly changed during the discharge. One common example for primary cell is alkaline battery, used for flashlights and other external devices and portable electronic devices. Coming to the secondary cells, let's get to know the definition of secondary cells. I mean, or secondary batteries, which are known also as the secondary cells. These are the rechargeable batteries, must be charged before first use, whereas the primary cells are one use. They can be thrown away after one use. These are usually assembled with active materials in the discharge state. Rechargeable batteries are recharged by applying electric current. This can work only through electric current, which reverses the chemical reactions that occur during discharge or use. Whatever the devices to supply the appropriate current are called chargers. Coming to the oldest form of rechargeable battery is a lead acid battery, which is a most widely used in automotive and boating applications. Excuse me. This technology contains liquid electrolyte in an unsealed container, requiring that the battery should be kept right under the area and be well ventilated to ensure safe dispersal of hydrogen gas it produces during overcharging. Whatever the lead acid battery is relatively heavy for the amount of electrical energy it can supply. And moreover, its low manufacturing cost and its high in surge current levels make it common where its capacity is moreover like approximately 450 amperes like that. It can deliver a peak current, and its most common application is car battery, which we use in general. Coming to the seal valve regulated acid battery, VRLA, is a popular automotive industry. It's a replacement of a lead acid wet cell, simple replacement of lead acid wet cell. And these VRLA battery uses an immobilized sulfuric acid electrolyte, which reduces the chance of leakage and extending shelf life. VRLA batteries immobilize the electrolyte, and there are two types in that. One is gel batteries, and the other thing is absorbed glass mat, AGM. These batteries absorb the electrolyte in a specific fiberglass matting. Whatever the other portable rechargeable batteries include several sealed dry cell types. There's dry cells and wet cell, and those come under cell types, and it's another topic that useful in applications such as mobile phones and laptop computers. Whatever the cells of this type, in order of increasing power and density cost, include nickel, cadmium, nickel zinc, nickel metal hydride, and lithium ion. Lithium ion has the highest share of dry cell rechargeable market, and most of all, it consists of expensive thing even. Coming to the nickel metal hydride, it has replaced nickel cadmium even in most applications due to its higher capacity. But nickel cadmium remains in use of power tools, two-way radios. It works as even a medical equipment, and it has more battery shell life. Whereas in the 2000s, developments include batteries with embedded electronics such as USB cell, which allows charging in an AA battery through an USB connector. Nanoball batteries that allow for discharge rate about 100 times greater than current batteries. So even smart batteries are there in today's market with a state of charge monitors and battery protection circuits that prevent the level of damage and over discharge. I mean, the self discharge happens over there, and it happens under low rate and allows secondary cells to be charged prior to the shipping. Coming to the advantages of nickel cadmium battery, this battery performs very well under rough conditions, perfect for use in the portable tools. Whatever these nickel cadmium batteries are, they typically last longer. They have longer lifetime in terms of number of discharge or discharge cycles. Rechargeable batteries such as lead acid batteries, compared to lead acid batteries, these even replace the nickel cadmium batteries and have much higher density, energy density. Any queries regarding this?
Yeah, Priyanka is very good, Anna. ఎవరికైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే ఒకసారి హ్యాండ్స్ రేస్ చేయండి, అన్మ్యూట్ చేస్తాను నేను. ఈ చాట్ బాక్స్లో ఒకసారి చాట్ చేయండి అన్న. Do you have any queries regarding of secondary cells? Yeah, it's nice.
And so even observe the discard one. Okay.
Yeah, it was nice, Anna. It was a nice presentation by Sai Priyanka of CSCA section. It's very good.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning to all. Myself, G. Sangeeta, CSCA. Today I want to give seminar on galvanic cell. Now the definition of galvanic cell is a galvanic cell is a device for converting chemical energy into electrical energy. When in zinc plate of the zinc sulfate electrode is connected with a wire to the copper plate of copper sulfate electrodes. Electrons begins to flow from the zinc plate to the flow of current. This devices of generating electric current is called galvanic cell. The use and importance of cells and batteries are unquestionable in our day-to-day lives. We make use of cells in so many different ways. Now, in the past few concepts, we have already introduced you to batteries in general. Among other cells is a type of electrochemical cells. It is used to supply electric current by making the transfer of electrons. Through the redox reaction, a galvanic cell is an explanatory idea of how energy can be harnessed using simple reactions. Between a few given elements, it is amazing to study how a galvanic cell can be set up and utilized to obtain energy. And explaining in the most simply terms, a galvanic cells act as a device in which simultaneous oxidation and reduction reactions takes places. Now, these reactions are used to convert the chemical energy into electrical energy, which can be utilized for any commercially purposes. And the working of galvanic cell is quite similar. It involves into a chemical reaction that makes the electric energy available as the end of the result during a redox reactions. A galvanic cell utilizes energy transfer into electrical energy to convert chemical energy into electrical energy. Galvanic cells utilizes the ability to separate the flow of electrons in the process of oxidation and reduction reactions, causing of reactions and connecting each with a wire so that a path can be formed for the flow of electrons through the wire. This flow of electrons essentially is called a current. Such current can be made to flow through a wire to complete a circuit and obtain its output in any device such as a television or a watch. Now, a galvanic cell can be made out of any two metals. These two metals can from the anode and the cathode, it left in contact with each other. This combination allows this galvanic cell corrosion that metal which more anodic. A connecting circuit shall be required to allow this corrosion to take place. Setup of a galvanic cell. In order to create a galvanic cell, one would have to throw the following setup. The cell would ideally include two electrodes. Now, one of these electrodes, the cathode, shall be positively charged electrodes, while the other, then other shall be anode positively charged electrodes, while the other shall be the anode, the negatively charged electrodes. Now these two electrodes shall from the two essential componential components of the galvanic cell. The chemical reaction related to reduction cell takes place at the cathode, while the oxidation and off reaction cell takes places at the anode. Now, has already been said, any two metals can be used to create the chemical reaction. And now uses of galvanic cell traditionally are used as source of DC electric power. A simple galvanic cell may contain only one electrolyte separate by a semi-process membrane. Now, while a more complex versions involves two separate of cells connected by a salt bridge. And galvanic cell traditionally are used as a source of DC electric power. A simple galvanic cell may contain only one electrolyte separated by a semi-porous membranes, while a more complex version involves into separate of cells connected by a salt bridge. That's it, sir. So that's it, sir.
It's very nice presentation, Sangeeta. And today we have two sessions of presentations. The first presentation by Sai Priyanka and the second presentation by Sangeeta. The first presentation regarding of secondary cells like lead acid battery, nickel cadmium battery, nickel metal hydride battery. And the second presentation, just now we have discussed what is known to be the galvanic cell construction and the galvanic cell working. And both of the presentations, they were very good. And still